Hello everyone. Now, from the projection of points, we have this question number 3 and 4. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about this question number 3. I'm just going to draw the projection for this question number 3. A point P is on HP and 35 mm in front of AP. So, for example, this is HP and this is VP. Now, in the question we have point P is on HP and 35 mm in front of AP. So the point is somewhere here, and this distance is about 35. So this is point P. Now if we observe this point from the front, the front view will appear here. This P dash is here, and if we observe this thing from the top, so again at the same point, top view is on the same point. So this projection is on the HP. So what we have to do, we have to rotate this thing by 90° in clockwise direction. So this point is going to be here, P, which is a distance of 35 mm from the origin. So this is what we have. So this is P dash, and this is the projection of point P, and this is P dash front view, and 35 mm below this XY line we have P top view. Now another point Q is on VP and below HP. So another point Q is on VP and below HP. So it is somewhere here. Let's consider this another plane. This point Q is on VP and below HP, somewhere below this origin. We don't know this distance, at what distance this point is, but we know this particular point Q is on this line below this intersection or below this origin. So we know if you take the front view, it will appear on the same point on this line. So front view will be like this, and if the point is on this line, so the top view will be here on the origin. So we know our top view will be for this point Q, top view will be on the reference line, and front view will be in the downward direction, but at what distance we don't know. This distance we don't know. So now moving forward, you can see the line joining the front views makes an angle of 30° to XY line joining the front views. Here we have front view point P. Here this point is Q, top view of the point Q, and front view is below this XY line, but at what distance it is not given. So the line joining P dash front view of point P and Q dash front view of this point Q makes an angle of 30° with the XY line. So we don't know this point, so what we're gonna do, we gonna just use the thing which is given. We know P dash makes an angle of, from P dash there is a line which makes an angle of 30° with the XY line. So we are going to here start this thing in another plane. This is XY line, this is P dash, and here we have P, and we know Q is on this reference line and Q dash is just below the reference line. So it is given the line joining the front views makes 30° to XY line. So this is front view of point P, and here front view of Q is below the XY line. So I'm just going to do one thing. The given thing is P dash and Q dash makes a line which is 30° with the XY line, and we know Q dash is here, somewhere here. We just draw a line which is at 30° to the XY line. Now again, while the line joining the top views makes an angle of 45°, again the top view of point P and top view of point Q makes an angle of 45° with the XY line. So what we have to do, again following the same process, just using the given condition. From point P, top view of point P, we are going to create a line which is going to make an angle of 45° with this line. Just create a line which should be at an angle of 45 degree with the XY line. And from the question we know point Q is on VP and below HP. If the point is on VP and below HP like this, if the point is somewhere here and we do not have this distance, then suppose this is point Q, so front view will be again here and top view is on the reference line. So this line crosses here. So if I say, if to say this is point Q, and from here I'm going to create a line because we know point Q is below HP. So I'm going to create a straight line, and this point is going to be Q dash. Now we have to cross check it. From the figure you can say in the question it is given the point Q is on VP and below HP. Point Q is on VP and below HP. If point is on VP and below HP, top view will be on horizon. Here we have top view on the horizon, and Q is below the horizon, so Q dash is below the horizon. Now check this thing. Front view of point P and front view of point Q makes an angle of 30 degree with the XY line. And it is the same thing which is given in the question. The line joining the front views makes an angle of 30 degree. So this line is correct. And about this line, while the line joining their top views makes an angle of 45 degree with the XY line. So here this is the top view of point P and this is top view of point Q, and this line which is joining these 2 points makes an angle of 45 degrees. So again this condition is right. So we can say this correct projection is correct, and now it has been asked draw its views and find the distance of the point Q from HP. So as per the question, this conditions are correct, and these we have identified the projection of front view. So this distance is the answer, or we can say this is the project distance of point Q from HP. Now I'm going to plot this thing in the AutoCAD. Now in the question it has been asked, it has been given point P is, we have the question point P is on HP and 35 mm in front of VP. So projection will be like this, 35 mm below HP. So we have P dash is owned by HP, and this is P, top view. This is front view, this is top view. Now second thing is, given conditions are line joining the front views makes an angle of 30 degree, and because I'm just neglecting this thing here because it is given point Q is on VP and below HP. So if point Q is on VP, it means the top view will appear on the horizon and front view will be below this line, as we have done, as we just done this thing in here. So I'm just going to proceed with this. Now we have to draw this line which should be at 30 degree with the XY line. So to draw this line in this direction, just close this button. Now by just looking at the cursor and the icon, you can check the angle. Just click this thing at the 30 degree, or if you want to follow the systematic way, just click first time here. Now extend your mouse. Now press shift at the right. Now dimension, keep it as it is now. Just press tab key. Now the angle is in the downward direction, so I'm going to provide minus 30 degree. Now you can check whether this P dash line makes an angle of 30 degree with the XY. So it is making an angle of 30 degree. Now again I have to draw a line which should be at 45 degree from point P. This is the top view of point P. I'm going to make a line which is at an angle of 45 degree with the XY. So again, tap 45. Okay, now we check this angle. So this is 45. This is 30, this is 45. Now, so this point of intersection is nothing but point Q, and if I draw a straight line from here to in the downward direction, you have to draw the vertical line. This line is going to intersect here. So this point of intersection is Q dash. Just go to this line and double click. You can change Q dash. So this is projection of point P, and these are projection of point Q. So top view makes an angle of 45 degree with the XY line, and front view makes an angle of 30 degree with the XY line. Now you can measure this length. This is 35 and this is 20.2. So as per the question, and the question doesn't mean it has been asked draw it views. So we have drawn the views and find the distance of the point Q from HP. So Q is at a distance of 20.2 from the XY, or we can say the point Q is at a distance of 20.2 mm below the HP. So this distance, which was our answer, this distance is 20.2 mm. So this is our solution. So this is our question number 3. Thank you.